Welcome to Snowy Desert Clan Gerbils. The Snowy Desert Clan is located in Linden, Utah, and is run by Cammie McEwen and me, Ben McEwen. Over the past 10 months, we've adopted out over 50 gerbils, and at any given time we've had anywhere from 2 to 47 gerbils living with us in our home. Today we're going to show you some of the permanent members of our clan in their mini tanks. On the right is Honey, and on the left, in the wheel, is Pomela. Pomela is Honey's daughter. You can tell them apart because Honey is just a little bit bigger. Honey's the first gerbil we ever got, and she's probably the nicest. She's about 11 months old. When she wants to get out of her tank, she'll let us know by jumping up to the top of the tank and grabbing onto the wire mesh. Honey's given birth to a total of 16 pups in 3 litters. In all, she's had 10 boys and 6 girls. In all 3 litters, the father was Silverado, and in all 16 cases, her pups were either Argent or Spotted Argent, like herself. Unlike most gerbils, Honey didn't lose any of her pups at infancy, and all 16 of them survived to adulthood. Pomela is 4 months old, and is from Honey's 3rd litter. This is Snowy and Silverado. As you may have guessed, Silverado is the gray gerbil on the left, and Snowy is the white gerbil on the right. As I mentioned previously, Silverado has had 16 pups with Honey. He was a really good father, and would always sit on top of the pups to keep them warm when Honey was off doing other gerbil things like eating or digging in the corner. We were going to enter Silverado in the AGS virtual show back in April, but a few days before the show, Snowy bit him on the nose, and for a time Silverado was, non-show quality. At the time we were trying to introduce the 2 gerbils, and we actually had a wire mesh divider between Snowy and Silverado. But Silverado shoved his nose through one of the holes in the mesh, and Snowy bit it pretty hard. Luckily, gerbils have short memories, and since then Snowy and Silverado have been the best of friends. We got Snowy about 8 months ago, and he's currently about 10 months old. Snowy is a pink-eyed white, and unfortunately his pink eyes give him pretty poor eyesight. A lot of times you'll see him kind of lean over to one side, and this is because he's trying to focus in on an object with his eyes. In this tank is Meg, Burma, and Saya. Meg is the lightest gerbil. She's the one who's pawing the glass, and the one who's closest to the camera. Now she's over on the left side. The darkest one is Burma. She's a Burmese. And the one all the way to the right is Saya, and she's a Siamese. Siamese gerbils are generally considered the most popular among gerbil breeders. In all, Meg has given birth to 34 gerbils in 4 litters. In all cases, the father was Sam. Some of the litters were very large, so to keep all of the pups warm, Meg and Sam would divide them into 2 piles and would each sit on one pile. Most of the time these gerbils have a wheel in their tank. This is Greg and Sam. Greg is the lighter gerbil on the left, who has the gray ticking. Greg is named after the fact that he is a gray nutmeg, so his name is Greg. We found him about 5 months ago at PetSmart in Orem. We actually weren't even looking for a gerbil at the time, but when we saw that he was a silver nutmeg, a gerbil with the gray gene, we knew that we had to get him. The gray gene is really rare, especially in Utah. We were trying to explain to the store employee exactly why Greg was such a rare gerbil, but she simply responded to our explanations with, "It's like you guys are speaking a different language." When we tried to take Greg out of his tank, he immediately ran into a plastic tube and refused to come out. It took us forever to get him out, but it was worth it. We entered him in the 2005 AGS virtual show, and he won 3rd place in his category. Greg was really shy at first, but he's lightened up in the 6 months since we've got him. The darker gerbil in the tank, the one all the way to the right, is Sam. Sam is a chocolate Siamese. He's named after Frodo's companion in Lord of the Rings. Like I said before, Sam has had a grand total of 34 pups with Meg. We wanted to enter him into the AGS virtual show, but at the time he had a large unsightly molt line across his back, so we decided we'd probably just enter him in the show next year. In this tank is Argentina, Jill, and Vega. Argentina and Jill are in the front half of the tank, and the back half of the tank is Vega. You'll probably notice that there is a wire mesh cage dividing them. This is because if you put two gerbils in with one gerbil that they're not familiar with, the three gerbils will usually fight. This is because gerbils in the wild are very territorial. When you put them in captivity, they'll still fight over their territory, even if their territory consists of just a tank. Jill is actually the daughter of Argentina, and Argentina gets her name from the fact that she's an Argent. Argentina is the daughter of Honey, who is our first gerbil. She's about 6 months old, and about 3 months ago, she gave birth to her first and only litter. The father was Greg, and she had 6 pups in all. There were 5 boys and 1 girl. 2 of the pups were brown, and the other 4 were black. Jill is a spotted agouti. Virtually all gerbils in the wild are colored like Jill, except that they don't have white spots on their head and back. Their brown and black color helps them blend in with the Mongolian landscape, so that predators can't find them. This is the tank of Palmer and his roommate. Palmer is the orangish-white gerbil located on the left. Palmer is named after Palmer, Alaska, where he's originally from. He has had a grand total of 3 litters and 18 pups with Vega. Palmer is a schimmel gerbil. Schimmels are fairly common in some parts of Alaska, but are almost unknown in the rest of the world. In fact, until we imported Palmer and Vega, there were no schimmel gerbils in the entire Rocky Mountain area. Now, thanks to all of Palmer and Vega's litters, there are nearly 2 dozen. Schimmel gerbils are born orange, and over the course of a lifetime they slowly turn white. The schimmel gene itself is more prominent than all other gerbil genes, so no matter what other genes a gerbil has, if it has 2 schimmel genes, it will be a schimmel. The black and white gerbil actually doesn't have a name. He's reserved for Cammie's friend Jessica in Colorado. The 2 large gerbils in this tank are Paul and Lila. The rest of the gerbils on the tank are their children. Paul is the white gerbil over on the left, and Lila is the gray gerbil. And she's over by the water bottle. Paul is a polar fox, and Lila is a lilac. Because they have so many recessive genes, they are capable of giving birth to about a dozen different types of gerbils. 6 of those types live in this tank right here. Now, this is probably just me, but I think it's kind of weird how a white gerbil and a gray gerbil can come together and produce gerbils that are mostly orange. The gerbil on the left is Thor, and the gerbil on the right is Loki. Loki is an Argent, and he's the son of Honey, our first gerbil. He's from her 3rd litter, and he's about 4 months old. He's also named after the Norse god of fire and mischief. Now Thor, on the other hand, is a light color point agouti, like his mother Meg. Thor was from Meg's 3rd litter, and he's also about 4 months old. You'll notice that their wheel is actually attached to their roof. This is because when we had the wheel on the ground, they kept stuffing bedding into it so that it wouldn't actually turn when they tried to run in it. So we decided that if we attached it to the roof, they wouldn't be able to clog it as easily.